All right, all right. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be going, or tonight rather, we're going to be going over a top down analysis for the week. I do these webinars every Sunday so that we can just get a gauge of what the market is up to. Let me just go really quick and go over what we have for the upcoming week. So, for the week, we only pretty much have hard news on Tuesday and Wednesday, FOMC and unemployment. And yeah, not much going on this week. It is heading into the new year, so I'm not entirely sure how the markets are going to be. Just watch and see what they've got for us. Now, I'm going to go over 5 stocks. I'm going to go over QQQ, Tesla, PLTR, Meta, and Google. And we're just going to do a top down analysis for that, mostly because I do a sort of percentage change and price movement change and just see which one moved the most. And I just do the top 5 of that. We're going to start from the monthly all the way down to the 15-minute or the 1 minute. Because I trade in the 1 minute, I actually am gonna go down all the way to the 1 minute. So, because I know last time I wasn't quite sure whether I wanted to go all the way down to the 1 minute, but I technically am a day trader or scalper, so why not? And just so that it doesn't look too messy, I'm going to try to use the least amount of trend lines as possible. And so let's start this up. Okay, let me drink some water. I'm just recovering. I was sick all of for the past 2 weeks. So just recovering there. All right, we're gonna start this up. As usual for a top-down analysis, we start from the lowest point to the highest point of the chart without any intersections to the downside. I would like to change this pink just to make it a little cute. Little cutesy cutes. And I'm trying to see if I want to make the lines really thin because I really don't want them to. You know what? We're going to make them thick. Okay. And then you basically just start from the newest point again to the most recent point where there are no intersections to the downside. New point A to a new point B. Point A to a point B. So far, we can already see that QQQ is in an uptrend. And that's what we really want to know when we're doing a top-down analysis. We want to see where price is going. It's actually going all the way up to all-time highs again. And price might continue to go up or might create a new area of support. Sorry, a new area of resistance. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to delete all the old ones just so that the chart doesn't look too messy. I'm going to start from there just to gauge and go from the monthly. We readjust it as accordingly. Make sure there's no intersection. And we go down to the daily, adjust it accordingly, only down. So now you only want to really worry about the last point because that's where we're going to draw our lines. You can see there's a little bit of a downtrend over here. So we can create this new point A to this point B. Go down to the 4-hour, just readjust accordingly again. Go down to the hourly. Is my thing on mute? Okay, no, it's not on mute. I think this is still good for now. Go down to the 15-minute. Oh, that's my extended, yeah. Now that we have that on, let's see if we can adjust accordingly again. So we can adjust from this point all the way down to this point. And then we can adjust this point all the way down to here as well. Let's see if there's any. And then we can go down to the 5 minute and see if there's any points that we could touch it again. So we can touch over here. We can also have this point A down to this point B again, and we can erase that. And then, so as you go down, you can see how price really kind of doesn't really touch. Like there's a lot of, it takes a while before we can find another point. But let's see if, because price might just break out. So see how we have a higher low, higher low. We're having higher lows here. And the last higher low we have is right here. It broke out of this trend line. And no, it didn't break out of the trend line, but price may go below this. So we're just going to keep that empty until we can find another point to where we can have a low. Because if we have this point over here, you can't really, it's post-market. Well, since it is post-market, and pre-market doesn't start until literally, like in 3 hours, we're just going to leave this point over here since it is just post-market. And then we're going to delete this previous one just so that the charts can be cleaner. And then when we go all the way down to the 1 minute, you can also see that there is also a point over here that we can touch, and this point, and we can delete this line once again. And we are now left with just 2 trend lines, clean chart, nothing too crazy, and just nothing too crazy. You don't want it. And then, so when pre-market opens is when we can now adjust this line, but we are going to keep this line unless price decides to break out of this trend line or this downer trend line. I want to mark this up. So I do believe this might be a change of character. So we can point that out as a change of character if we truly wanted to. But I think it's okay to just eyeball it at this point. So yeah, that's it for QQQ. We're going to go down to Tesla. I don't trade Tesla, so I don't even know why. Yeah, I'm not going to trade Tesla because they're expensive. So I'm just going to do PLTR, Meta, Google, and Apple. So let's head over to PLTR. Whoa, PLTR had a large drop. So let's do the top-down analysis for that. Oh my gosh, I am about to cough so bad. Okay. PLTR looks like it had a drop after hitting all-time highs. But it does look like it's still going back up to all-time highs. So we shall see. Okay, so since this is really steep, we're going to start. I think we can start at this point. New point A to the new point B. And get rid of the old trend line. I think we can start at this one. Now we're going to go down to the weekly and just adjust the... Let me play some music because I forget this isn't YouTube where I'll be like copyrighted. So let me play some beats in the background so that this can, be fruitful. Let's see here. Okay. Just cute tunes in the background. All right. So We'll go down to the daily. Let's move that from a new point A to the new point B. Erase the old trend line. And it looks like we can start doing a down trend line from this point A. This point A to this point B. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Go down to the hourly. New point A to point B to the down side. And also a new point A. Well, kind of, yeah. It's post market. So we're going to delete the old trend lines, keep the new ones. Sometimes I think it might be best to keep at least 2 trend lines just so that we can see if we can get another bounce. But that's not what we're looking for. We're not looking for bounces. We're mostly looking for breakouts for our price targets. I think this is where it'll end for PLTR. Since this is post market. I think it's good here. Let's look at the 1 minute. The 1 minute is kind of tricky. Yeah. Well, because we do have a point here, here, here. It's a pretty steep trend line. If we wanted to try any of these points, we could try this one because that's the last highest lower high or higher low. So yeah, but we'll see what price can do. No, I think I'll just get rid of that. Okay. So that is it for PLTR. We have possible calls above this level, above this trend line, possible puts below this trend line. And we're going to head over to Meta and do another top-down analysis. Again, the top-down analysis is just really what's going to help you to figure out the direction of the market. For PLTR, did we ever figure that out, actually? So for PLTR, it looks like it might be going in a downtrend, but obviously it's overall going up. But it's possible that price may be reversing to the downside. So let's head over to Meta. Go again from the monthly. Oh, geez. Okay. So for the monthly, oh my gosh. Excuse me. Now I have hiccups and a cough at the same time. Lord have mercy. Okay. I had to drink some water. So I'm going to start on the lowest point A to point B. Let's go down to the weekly and adjust accordingly. Looks like we're already getting some downtrend. So it looks like the overall trend is bullish. You can start from this point to this point. Yeah, it looks like yeah. Let's go down to the daily. Adjust accordingly. And let's move on to the 4 hour. Can definitely adjust from here, this point to this point. Oh, where's my... Okay, it's all the way over here. So it looks like actually we can have another point A to this point B. Get rid of that trend line. It looks like all the points are like stopping at post market. Like this is how it's been doing for this past month. It's like either breakouts at post market or bounces at post market, which is interesting. All right, we have a new point A over here that we can head on to. Technically, you can touch this point. Let's see, which one is the closest? Still at post market. Wow, okay. Still at post market. So we can get rid of this trend line. Go to the 15-minute. It's probably going to be the exact same. Ending at post market. Everything is ending at post market. So for PLTR, it is trading in this range. So if price can break out of this trend line, we'll look for puts below here and calls above to see if price is still going in that continuous bullish trend. But overall, it seems like price is reversing to the downside unless it can break some of these points and finally break this low at 581 as well. The 5 minute. Yeah. All the way down to the 1 minute. Keep that at the post market level. All right. That is it for Meta. Oh, this was Meta the whole time. I thought it was PLTR. My bad. I already did. Wait, hold on. Did I do PLTR? I did. Wait, was I doing Meta this whole time? I thought I was doing PLTR. Okay, since we're done with Meta, I guess we can head on now to Google. Google, I don't even want to chart this. What is this? It's been ranging. It's been in this range. So I'm actually just going to, you know what? Hold on. Let's look at the monthly. So for the monthly for Google, looks like Google has been pretty bullish. Pretty bullish, actually. Most especially bullish. Let's go down to the weekly, daily, 4 hour. But it's steady though. It's not really aggressive with it. Is this the correct Google? This doesn't look like the correct Google. I guess it is. Okay. Whoop-de-doo. Let's go into the 15-minute. Yeah, it looks like... Well, it is going in... It does have a nice uptrend on the 15-minute. Let's actually look at that 4 hour. I think we can start tracing the top dot analysis from the 4 hour. Looks pretty decent. We can get a nice trend line sweep from this point to this point. And we could also get one as well for... Let's see how we can get one for the uptrends. We can get from this point A, new point A, to this new point B. Oop. And delete the old one. Nice, nice. Okay. So if I go for the hourly, gonna adjust accordingly. Looks like price can adjust from here as well. again, stopped at, I might just, it's like I think I'm going to start putting it at this trend line because it looks like price is stopping at post markets each time. So what I am going to do from now, actually, I'm going to, for even the previous ones, I'm going to adjust them. Let's look at the 15-minute. Unless I can find another low. Because if price can break the trend line and either retest it and go back down, that's still a good sign as well. Because technically we are looking for breakouts and retests. So let's see. Can I call it this? I think this is a proper line. Let's go on to the 1 minute. And we've got one right here. Oh, look, we have another trend line that we could actually adjust. Oh, I'm just going to move it up here. A new trend line from here to the downside. Move the trend line from here as well, again. Yeah, because if price can literally break and retest, then that's a good sign, technically. So this could be it for Google, all the way down to the 1 minute. And then Apple, let's look at Apple. Apple looks like it might have a change of character, break out of a range right here. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Yeah. But price is approaching all-time highs again. So the market's moving regardless. I think price can be good from here to here. And then we can gauge price again from this high point to the lowest. Let's go down to the hourly time frame. Let's adjust it to this previous one. Create a new trend line. It's so windy outside. Okay. Let's go down to, well, yeah, we're going to keep this trend line down to the last low. Let's go down to the 15-minute and see what that looks like. Over here. To adjust the top trend line as well. Engage this line down to this one. Oh, I keep doing that. And then we can gauge this line down to this trend line just to get more accurate. That's the reason why I draw these trend lines, just to get a little more accurate, especially for the pricing. This point A over here. And you can make it as steep as possible just to see where price is going. But I think this is good for now for Apple. If price can break and retest, we know that price we start looking for puts below this zone. But if price can break here, retest to the upside, start looking for calls. So I'm going to go over it again since I did stop the other ones at post market, but I think since there is a lower low over here, we're going to gauge this. And if price can continue to go down and retest and stay down, then I'd be looking for puts to the downside. Also depends on the price targets. I'm going to do the same for PLTR because I believe I stopped all of them at post market. Let's see. Is there another low? This is a nice low to gauge. And then let's see how steep it can gauge from the downside. There is no other higher There's no other higher one. So we're actually just going to leave that. Same for Meta. I believe I stopped it at the. I'll stop it at this lower high. I believe I did the same for Google. What can I, oh, these are on the 5 minute. Let's see what they all look like on the 5 minute. Now I'm thinking whether to do it on the 15 minute because that's where my price targets are. You know what? I am going to do. Okay, so I am going to do it on the 15 minute because that's where I have my price targets, and it's going to be from the previous high. That way, when you see that price breaks that trend line, if it can go up and retest and go back down, or or pass it and go down up to the upside, then you'll know. Not know. It'll just be another confluence with my price targets for the 15 minute. This one's a little hard to gauge because there's no actual like another low apart from after the post market, but I think this is a good one to gauge on. Let's see for Meta as well. Meta, same thing. Technically, looks like price broke and might have a down trend. And here we go. No, we can't. Let's check Google. Google, same thing. The high, I can do this high over here. Since price is going back up, I can do this as well. Because this is the next low. And it does look like price broke. Because price came down here, went up, came down here, went up, and it just consolidated. It's not really a dip. So I'm going to keep it at that. Apple. I guess we can actually do the same for Apple. It's the previous low. Yeah, and that's it. So that's it for our top-down analysis. You really want to get a gauge of just where the market is going, see where price breaks, look for key levels, look for support and resistance. You could also look for some support on the hourly to see where price is. So we see over here, price got a little choppy in this zone. And we can actually count this as an area of support. Sorry, an area of resistance. Call the zone an area of resistance. I don't know if I want to make it pink. Let's make it pink. Yeah. Let's see where else price is touched. Let's see where else price could have touched. We have a zone right here and right here. But we also have a zone over here. See, price touched it quite a few times. So this could also be an area of interest. I'm thinking I should put lines. I think I'll put lines instead, especially for this one. Or should I put squares? Yeah, I think I'll put a square. Put the rectangle tool. Because this is a place where price... All right. I know it looks a little messy, but those are just areas that can be looked out for. You can always take them out and just be alerted when price touches your zone. You can just add the alert on the triangle, literally on the zone. So let's move on to PLTR, see what we have on the hourly for support and resistance. For this down area, this looks like is an area of support. There's also a gap in this zone. So this looks like an area of support. And to the upside, price already broke this one. So I would say a zone would probably be here. And we got Meta, hourly. I would love to find us a supply and demand zone. So for this zone, there's actually also another area of support. Let's see if price can go below that. And if price does go below that, there's also another zone of support where price wicked. Yeah. To do the full thing. You know, you want to get a full picture of stuff. It may look really messy, but that's just what's going to help you. For Google, let's see what we have here. Price went up to this zone a lot of times as well, so I can consider this an area of resistance. And if price can break below these wicks, I can consider that an area of support as well. If price can break that range. Let's go to Apple. Have a clear support, an area of resistance up here. I think I'll call it from this zone to this zone. An area of support. Sorry, an area of resistance. And then I can call this full zone right here. Since price wicked out a lot at this area, it shows strong support as well. So if price can break above here, we can go call in for calls, and below here for puts. Yeah. Yeah, if literally price can break, well, because let's see. Yeah, this is price wicked out a lot at this zone. So I wouldn't go in that area for calls. So let me actually add the arrow. So what I'm going to do now is mark the areas of calls or puts. So I have calls above here, puts below here. Put it in the proper direction. And we're also going to have this pink. Yeah, so calls above, puts below. Okay, this is actually annoying me. So I'll make this longer. So puts below, what? Puts below 621.72 and calls above 629.13. Let's look at PLTR as well. We'll have calls above here. Let's bring it to the front. Puts below here. Okay. Now for Meta. Same thing. I think calls above here. Oh, was this a support? Hold on. Let's look at this. Yeah, this right here is actually a level of see here. Because we see that price wicked here many times. But I'll call this area right here an area of resistance on the hourly. So we'll have calls above this zone, puts below this zone. Actually, yeah, puts below this zone. And then let's go to Google. See what Google's go over here. Can look for puts below this zone and then calls above this zone. I'll make this long just to make it aesthetically pleasing. Okay, and for Apple, same thing for Apple. Oh, why is it like this? Oh, okay. So on the hourly, we're going to have calls above this zone and look for puts below this zone. Yeah, and that is the top-down analysis. You really want to also, like, there's so many confluences that it comes with trend lines and support and resistance, retesting. If price can break above or below your lines or above your support and resistance, you can use that as confluences in conjunction with your price targets. So for me, I think what I'll be looking at tomorrow in the morning in pre-market is just to see where price is going, what levels have been broken, what needs to be adjusted, which zones I need to look out for, psych levels as well, and really just trade the trade market structure, trade the trend. Don't ever go against the trend. It's easier to trade in the trend. But yeah, I think I'm going to look at all these tomorrow, and I will see you guys for the live stream then.